What? I can't believe the greatest Formula One driver of all time is just sitting right there. Oh, there's AYRTON Senna as well. What is up, guys? And welcome back to a brand new video. Blah, blah, blah. You get the gist. Here we are. New career mode episode. Belgian Grand Prix. But this is a special period for the channel. We've got AYRTON Senna driving in the other car for Marduk Motorsport. This is going to be an iconic event, seeing what he can do in machinery that we have built. So, let's get cracking. As you saw, it is actually raining for the race for this Belgian Grand Prix. I am very, very excited. In the performance index, we have overtaken McLaren and Red Bull. We're slowly getting the upgrades on. They're not major performance boosts that we're getting at this point. Nothing that's going to boost overall performance that much, but it's making little differences here and there. So yeah, we're becoming a much more complete package, and I hope to take the fight to the big boys for the rest of the season with my teammate that I now have. I think top 3 in the Constructors is the aim. It's going to be very tough to beat Red Bull. They're a long way clear, but you never know. With AYRTON Senna, with reliability failures, DNFs, who knows? The tide could well be turning, and this could be the start of all that. So here we are with Friday practice in the Belgian Grand Prix. I'm doing some early laps here in practice. AYRTON hasn't gone out yet, and I really want to see, like I said, what he can do in my machinery. So let's have a little peep over and see what he's up to now. This is his first meters in action in this car. No testing, no practice, no sim work prior to this. Jumping straight into the car with no prior experience. And this is his first flying lap. He's going ballsy here. He's gone straight onto the soft compound tires. He's got a bit of a car in the way. But let's see what his pace is. I know it's early on and his first lap isn't going to be his best, but still, I want to see how he manhandles this thing. 21st, no, 12th in the speed traps. That is interesting, because I've been somewhat OP in the speed traps. You will see that's a massive dive bomb from AYRTON Senna into the Laycombe chicane. So already, this guy means business. And this is practice. Practice 1. Lunging an Aston Martin like that is, well, no mean feat. Here we go, through the middle sector. This is the part of the circuit where I'm a little bit worried this weekend, to be honest. So, he seems to be holding well so far. Pretty much flat out through Puon, which is absolutely lovely. Catching up to another slow car. You can tell they're going slow because their ERS light is blinking. Means they're not on a flying lap. Alfa Romeo out of the way. Into the third sector now. Fairly clean so far. No mistakes to speak of. It's almost like this guy has been driving this car week in, week out. Yeah, here we go. Through the last couple of corners. Through Blanchimont now. It's an easy flat-out corner for us now. And into the bus stop chicane, braking very late after the 100-meter board. Turn in, second gear, short shift up to third to minimize the wheel spin. He doesn't really do that. Up to the line, and it is P5 with a 1 minute 39.1. A few tenths faster than us, but we're on the medium compound tire. So we're going to go out again for the rest of this practice session. I'm not going to show you that lap. We're not going to bore you. We managed to beat him. Just 200ths of a second was the difference, and AYRTON's first lap was in fact his fastest, so perhaps not showing his true hand for the rest of the session. He must have much more in the locker after that one. But there we go, that was practice done. Pretty good on the resource point gain. So let's get out there now for qualifying and see what he can really do. Alrighty then, here we go for qualifying for the Belgian Grand Prix. I am so excited to see where this car is going to be now with its recent upgrades and with the new teammate. We could very well be exposed here a little bit, especially because we're running with a wet setup. It's going to be raining tomorrow in the race, so I'm going to put all my eggs in the point scoring basket, not in the start high basket. So we may not make it into Q3 or maybe even Q2 for that matter. That's not a good omen as we straight line the Lacombe chicane. I went a little bit too deep on my first run. 38.9. Purple in sector 1 and 3. And you saw what my wing levels were. It was 9-10 wings. I shouldn't be fast on a straight line. I'm carrying more downforce than anyone else. But yet I'm slow in sector 2, the downforce sector of the lap. It makes no sense. But anyway, we get through Q1 fairly nicely. A few tenths shy of our teammate, which is fine. It is to be expected. Ayrton is, well, the qualifying god. And I'm not really good at qualifying. So if I can be anywhere near my teammate, then hey, I'm doing a great job, I reckon. But anyway, this is the end of Q2, I believe. We're 5 tenths up on our banker time. Doesn't really matter how many laps we put on these tyres because we won't be starting on them. For the Grand Prix, we'll be starting on inters or wets. 8 tenths up through the middle sector. And yeah, it looks pretty neat and tidy so far. A little bit of overheating on the left rear tyre. I don't really want to lower the pressures any more than what I have. So that is a little bit of a concern. The car is just so fast. We're carrying so much speed into the corners that the tyres just really can't hold on. And that's part of the reason why we've been struggling lately. Last couple corners, third gear. Rotation wasn't too great there. I didn't get the line right. Up to the line, we improved by a second, which just gets us into the top 10 shootout with Ayrton Senna. Only 2 tenths away in P4. Wow. The man can drive. The man can drive. Unfortunately, he didn't put the lap together in Q3. He was 4 tenths slower in the final part of qualifying, and we found a couple of tenths. So somehow we were actually able to out-qualify him on his first attempt. But it was his first time. So we'll give him that. P7 on the grid, and with a wet setup, that's actually much better than I was expecting heading into this race. So Belgian Grand Prix, wet race. This could be Ayrton's moment to shine.
Welcome along then to the Belgian Grand Prix, the race that gave us the maiden victory for the Jordan team in 1998. And in the same team, the phenomenal debut of a young Michael Schumacher. There's always something special around one of the many corners of this fan favourite circuit. The rain is here then, and that's going to take away a lot of the grip, Anthony Davidson, and make turn 1 very interesting indeed.
Yeah, it's these kind of conditions where you can go in with one of two mindsets. You either see it as an opportunity, or you're worried that all of your hard work's about to be undone. We've been stuck in these conditions now for a few hours, more or less this kind of intensity, so we don't seem to have too much standing water, so we're not likely to be starting behind a safety car. And like you say, Crofty, the charge down into turn 1 will be quite interesting. I think we're in for a cracking Grand Prix.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton, Sergio Perez, Benjamin, Senna, Leclerc, Ocon, and Daniel Ricciardo.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Right, here we go on the grid of what is a very treacherous Grand Prix ahead of us. Wet weather, followed up by maybe a little bit of light rain and a dry spell. How long that sticks around for remains to be seen. The fuel load is on the minimum it can possibly be. So we won't be getting away with a lighter car today. Hopefully some of the other teams who are running min-fuel might very well be overloaded by the end, and hopefully we'll have some pace. But wet weather setup on, high downforce. This is what we've compromised for, so we should be fast now. Inters are not the one, so we'll stick with the wets. Here we go, ready for the race of the Belgian Grand Prix. Ayrton Senna's return to Formula 1, and he's got the dream conditions to shine in what is quite possibly not the fastest car. Heading into turn 1, you can see he gets up the inside of myself and Perez. See if he can challenge the top 4 guys. It's 3 wide at the apex of turn 1. Myself, Senna, and Perez all going through there without Oh, too much contact. Side by side with my teammate up the hill as you go through Eau Rouge and Radion. Senna gets the inside and it looks like he's going to hold the position and move up into the top 5. So Senna is through. I can't believe I'm saying those words. AYRTON Senna is driving my second car. 3 wide as we head down into the Lacombe chicane for the first of 22 times. Just about managing to hang on there between myself, Ocon and Perez. Thankfully, no damage done to anyone. And we're able to press on through. So, pretty good start so far. Gained a couple of positions. Senna already showcasing his skill in the wet. This is insane. This is a mouth-watering prospect. Senna versus Hamilton versus Verstappen. Heavy rain at Spa. Doesn't get much better than this. And then there's us with our OP wet weather setup. Seemingly not really able to do too much, at least on this opening lap. We do need to, I guess, feel our way around the track and see what the car is physically capable of. The AI are going to be up to speed fully from the word go, whereas with us it takes us a little while to feel out the grip, so we're allowing that little brief period to get up to speed. Max Verstappen leading the way pretty well there over one of the McLarens. I think it's Lando Norris, not too sure. Then the Mercs just chilling there in 4th and 5th.
The rain's easing off a bit, but the track is still going to be wet for a while. Full wets seem like the best tyre for now.
Make that 3rd and 4th, but it looks like the wet weather is here to stay, at least for the time being. We could even get away with a no-stop race if the weather permits. That's a massive slide through the exit of Pouhon, and we've just about managed to hang on to that somehow. Here's the replay. I get my foot in, and I just applied opposite lock. Oh my goodness, look at that slide. That was nearly a 100-meter slide there. I can't believe we've actually managed to get away with that. You never do on F1. Once you have a snap, it's normally game over, but we got away with that, thankfully. And without too much time loss or tyre temps going out the window, they've actually managed to stay in a working range. So that's absolutely lovely. But for the time being, it seems like we're losing pace with Senna and the top 4. Just don't exactly have their pace, for whatever reason it might be. The track is slowly drying.
Strategy is available on the MFD.
And that would be why. Left rear tyre overheating. We're getting called into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Hopefully Senna is going to come in and compromise us. But I imagine he's got the same radio call and he is in. Senna is in. So we don't want to double stack. Lose too much time. We'll come in next lap and hopefully not overheat the tyres. It's if this happens from an inter to dry transition, then that's when you can not avoid going the extra lap, especially at Spa. We're going to carry on. Verstappen has stayed out. Hamilton stayed out as well, so it's not overly bad, but the tyres are starting to feel a little bit. Yellow flag through Eau Rouge and Radion. Carlos Sainz is out of the Grand Prix. That could well be a crash, or it could be reliability, which it is. So, one less competitor in the race, and well, hopefully the safety car gets brought out. That'll be a dream for us. The VSC gets brought out though. Not exactly what we're after, but we'll take that anyway. If we can get to the pit lane, change our tyres during this yellow flag interval, we might be able to get away with a pit stop that's like 5-10 seconds faster than those around us. We might be able to merge in P3 potentially. So in we go. VSC's ending though, so we're not going to get the benefit of the free pit stop. So into the pit lane we go. I think we are going to fall out behind our teammates, the Mercedes, and possibly even the Alpines as we rejoin on the circuit once more. There goes Senna. We did make up a little bit of time with the VSC, but not as much as I was hoping. Senna a good 3 seconds up the road. So not ideal. It's going to be tough to reel him in, but on the intermediate tyre, I do feel more confident. I just feel like the tyres are more switched on than the wets, and we're able to actually be competitive in this field. We are catching our teammate by actually quite a bit. I think we've reeled him in by over half a second this lap, so we're absolutely flying at this stage. We can't burn any ERS. We're recovering it faster than what we're spending it, and that is the fastest up of the Grand Prix. 149.1. We are the fastest person on track right now, but this track is dynamically changing very quickly. We're going to be on the dries very, very soon. Verstappen still leading the way by quite a margin now over the McLaren. We're getting called into the pit lane again for a new set of tyres. That dry spell has actually hit very quickly in this race. I think Jeff is calling me in again for another pit stop. But just wondering if maybe I should have stopped on the previous lap because the DRS has been enabled, meaning the dry compound tyres are working now in these conditions. So the guys outside the top 10 were best placed to capitalize on that. And Sergio Perez, the first of those. There goes Sebastian Vettel on the Aston Martin onto the dry compound tyres. We are responding on the next lap. But again, we are having to double stack or stop at a time that's just not convenient compared to our teammates. So this one's really going to sting, guys. We are going to get held up massively in the pit stop. It's one of those rare problems we have in this career mode. We're normally the lead driver at our team. We've got one of the fastest drivers in history, and he's showing us up. We're playing second fiddle, and it's showing in the strategy. Here we go. Here's the double stack. Ayrton onto the soft compound tyres. I'm going to do the same because I don't think this is going to be a very long stint on the dry compound tyres. And out we go once again. Not as bad as I thought it was, actually. I think I held up for a few seconds. But either way, those few seconds matter a lot because we're now 6 seconds behind our teammates, which makes the job even tougher to try and get inside the top 4 to be in contention for this championship, remember? We need to be on the podium. We need to be winning races. And so far, we're not doing that. There's Hamilton. He's rejoined on the circuit. He did 2 extra laps on the wet weather tyre. And now it's side by side as we head up the hill. Eau Rouge and Raidillon side by side. Having to take a warning for corner cutting just to keep it pinned on the throttle. Hamilton's still there. We've got the DRS. And we're going to take P5 in this Belgian Grand Prix. Give him a bit of a wave. See you later, son. But I know full well he's going to be on my case when these soft compound tyres burn out. So hopefully the transition back to intermediate tyres is very swift because these will only hold out for a few laps. And, well, I'm going to make the most of it now and try and go for a fastest lap if I can. We've got the DRS on this lap. Verstappen with a 39.3. We were the fastest car when the conditions were suitable for inters, but as you guys see, we've got a wet weather setup on, and we're just too draggy in a straight line. We're not even fast in the sector of the lap where it's supposed to count. It makes no sense. We can't carry any speed through the middle sector. The AI are so OP at that part of the circuit, and here's why. Puon, I just get understeer. Understeer with 9-10 wings. The AI with their, I'm guessing 6-6 wings, but they're they're driving a different Formula car to what I am, it seems, through those high-speed corners. It is an absolute joke. Anyway, middle sector, still struggling with tyre temps now as the tyres are getting very worn. 30-40% on the rear tyres, and look at the tyre temps. That is absolutely disgusting. Not a bad slide, though. I will say that much. But in we go again for another set of tyres. This is Bottas. What is going on? I honestly thought the wet weather would have came back by now, but things are seemingly taking longer than what we all anticipated. I'm going to wait. I'm going to be so stubborn. I will stay out to the end of the Grand Prix, even if I have to, even if it means risking a puncture as Hamilton goes around the outside. Oh, man, I really risked that. I really risked losing my front wing in order to stay ahead of Hamilton. This is crucial in the context of the championship. And thankfully, Hamilton just backs out. Didn't have the confidence that I'd leave him the space at the second part of the Les Combes chicane. It's all fine and dandy, but then he gets shown the outside and he's like, nah, I've raced this guy too many times over the last 10 years, and I don't trust him. He puts me off the track every time. Smart play, Hamilton. This is the opposite of smart plays. We've got the AI coming in again with only 4 laps to go. 4 laps, guys. Surely you can chance it on some old tyres to get to the end. There's Verstappen. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get in the mix with Verstappen. I'd love to get DRS and fly past him and try and hold him up for the win. But it doesn't look like that is going to be the case. We're going to give it our best shot, but these tyres are already pretty well gone. There's a replay of Senna boxing on for another set of soft compound tyres. But where has the weather been? It was meant to come back straight away.
Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Great, Jeff. That's just phenomenal information. I didn't need to know when the wet weather's coming back. I didn't need to know if dries would work on a dry track. Thank you. Anyway, back to the action. I've made a major mistake getting caught up on the curb. Bit of oversteer. There goes Hamilton up the inside. Oh my God, Norris! Norris has run straight into the back of me and is out of the Grand Prix. I think the safety car might get deployed for this one. Norris out of nowhere. Doesn't want to use his own brakes. When there's a Marduk Motorsport car in the way, just use them as a brake. It's absolutely fine. Norris out of the Belgian Grand Prix. And with that, we might actually be back in this race, guys. We might be back in this race with a safety car. We are going to box at the end of this lap and put on another.
You've taken damage to the side pods. Expect to feel a little drag.
That's not ideal. That is not ideal at a high-speed circuit when you need all the stability. We're coming in for a new set of tyres onto the softs. It looks like it's going to stay dry for the rest of this race, so we're going to chuck on a new set of soft compound tyres, hopefully be OP as hell, and then overtake these guys to win the Grand Prix. Verstappen was already out of touch, so this is a chance that we're taking that could potentially get us the glory. We need to be beating this guy. He is leading by so much in the championship, and it doesn't look like that luck is going to change unless we have something to say about it.
Stay in position until the green flags.
Awesome. So safety car is coming in pretty much straight away, and it's going to give us 2 racing laps to decide this race. FIA love a grandstand finish, don't they? Anyway, here we go. Ready for green flag running. It looks like the weather is finally starting to arrive. But is it too late? Away we go for green flag running for the Belgian Grand Prix. 5 places is all we need to win this race. Leclerc next. Senna, P4. What has he got to say? I think he might have fresher tyres than those ahead of him. So he might be a dark horse in this race for potentially a podium. Up Eau Rouge now for the penultimate time, and you can start to see the rain is hitting the circuit. Track limits warning, I don't care about that. The rain has arrived, and people are, no, they're not in the pit lane just yet, but we've got 1.5 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. The rain is bucketing down to the point where we need inters at the end of this lap. I don't know what the AI are going to do. Normally, they're a bit stubborn. They're normally very stubborn in the final 3 laps, so we'll see. We might have a Malaysia 2013 situation on our hands, but we are readying the guys for intermediate tyres at the end of this lap. Thankfully, Belgium is actually one of the quickest pit lane transitions there is on the entire F1 calendar. Look at how look at how skatey it is now. I think it is well and truly ready for intermediate tyres. Anyone who stays out on dries now is not only risking the race win, but actually risking getting to the end at all. Through Blanchimont, you can see how much we have to actually lift to not fall off the circuit. We are going into the pit lane. Verstappen is staying out, as is Bottas, Hamilton. Everyone's staying out. We're going into the pit lane for intermediate tyres. This is a massive risk, but looking at how wet the track is, this isn't a risk at all. Onto the intermediate tyres we go. Verstappen is literally crawling through turn 1. Hamilton might be actually in pretty good shape on those medium compound tyres. They should have better grip than the softs, but in we go. Intermediate tyres are going on. We're now out of the points as we head on to the last lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. We're a solid 20 seconds behind the race leaders, and here they are, 3 wide into the Lecombe chicane. They're all holding each other up. They're all getting in the way of each other. Senna might be able to get both of the Mercedes here on the last lap and get on the podium in his first race back in Formula 1. Here's Tsunoda. We've caught up to him already. 10 seconds was the deficit. He can't even keep it on the track. These guys are massively slower at this point. Hamilton's gone! Hamilton's off the track. He's out of the Grand Prix. That's 1 less car to overtake in this race. And they're only a few seconds up the road. 4 seconds to these guys. Senna looking for a podium on the last lap. Here's the final group of cars, and there's me coming out of nowhere at light speed at these guys. Intermediates versus softs It's not even a competition. It's like 0% AI with these guys. And they are ruining their decision to stay out on dry compound tires. Some people still retiring in this race. Leclerc nearly joining them as we head into the last 2 corners. 3 cars to overtake. Senna's on the podium, but we're about to ruin his day as we go around the outside of not only him, but Ricciardo and Bottas as well to get 2nd place.
Yes, 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 we're on the podium. Good job this weekend. Great drive. Thank you.
I've never been so happy to get P2 in my life. Boom. P2, 18 points on the board from this Belgian Grand Prix when we were staring down the barrel of nothing. Heading on to the last lap, P11 intermediate tyres, and it has worked wonders. What a Grand Prix. I feel so bad for Ayrton as well because this was his first race. Overtook, well, Hamilton. He was looking very likely to overtake Bottas as well, and then we just yeeted him out the way to steal the podium at the last grasp. Malaysia 2013, eat your heart out. But there we go, guys. That has been this video for today. We're going to have a look at a few replays. Hamilton, of course, being the first of which we need to see. This is us in the second half of the lap, just zooming past literally everyone as they had absolutely... yeah, just no pace. No pace at the ends. Some people were literally crawling. I think Verstappen was crawling out of slow speed corners. And here, this was a very scary moment. I had no grip on the intermediate tyres. I think I was flying through there as if it was dry. Maybe too much confidence there. Then this was the final 3 cars we overtook. Round the outside of Senna. Oh, we've actually made contact. We've made contact with Senna. He's actually then crashed into Ricciardo as well. And they both lost their wings. So I've actually screwed over my teammate. Here's the replay from his onboard. And he drifts over into my line a little bit. So not entirely my fault. A bit of blame on both of us there, but... yeah, that's not ideal. Senna was on the podium with 2 corners to go, and then he ends up in P5. Or P4. Regardless, not a bad way to start your innings at Marduk Motorsport. Hamilton, uncharacteristic mistake there. Not good for the championship stand. He's already down in P10 in the standings. He's making a few mistakes in this season. Might well be time for him to retire from the sport if this keeps up. But there's Verstappen absolutely cruising to the line. I wonder if he was out of fuel because he's not accelerating at all up to the line. If we had one more corner, we would have won the race. We would have won the race. But hindsight is a beautiful thing. And that is the Belgian Grand Prix. P2 in the standings, 93 points behind Verstappen. Really, we needed to claw back some points today, but after everything that happened, P2 is more than justice, more than what we deserved, I'd say. We didn't have the pace of P2. Definitely the right call, because we went from, like, what, P5 or something before the safety car to, yeah, being in contention to win the race. But, yeah, not ideal. We had okay pace, not amazing. We got screwed over a couple of times, double stacking behind our teammate or stopping on a less than ideal lap. So we would have been closer to the front had those things not happened. But then the weird moment with Norris is the thing that brought out the safety car in the end anyway and really neutralized that race. So crazy race, crazy races we're having in this season of career mode. And long may it continue. We need a lot of luck to get back in the championship fight. But first and foremost, we need to start beating Verstappen. He's our only competition, and he's light years ahead of the rest. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you need to see plenty more racing game content. It was nearly, very nearly, an Ayrton Senna masterclass. But I need to give him a slightly better car to make the most of it. We'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. And I'll see you next time.